Before he passed away in December 2009, Jim Rohn had quietly and profoundly shaped the minds and lives of over 5 million people across the globe. But his influence wasn't loud or flashy. It was enduring, subtle, deeply human. He didn't need grand theatrics to make an impression. What made Jim so unforgettable wasn't just what he said, but how he said it. He had a rare gift, the ability to take complex, timeless truths about success, discipline, and human potential and translate them into stories so simple, so accessible, that anyone could understand and apply them. Jim Rohn was more than a speaker. He was a philosopher in work clothes, a mentor to both the titans of personal development and to everyday people trying to take the next right step in their lives. Among those he mentored was Tony Robbins, who met Jim at just 19 years old. Reflecting back, Robbins said, "Jim had a positive impact on me at a time in my life when I was first forming the philosophies that guide me today." That's the essence of Jim's power. He didn't just motivate, he formed foundations. He didn't just inspire momentary change, he offered principles that would anchor a lifetime. Jim Rohn's philosophy for successful living, a masterclass in wisdom. The spirit of Jim's teachings lives on, especially in the special edition of his work, My Philosophy for Successful Living. This is more than a book or a recording. It's a personal invitation to step into a better version of yourself. Inside, you'll find teachings that blend wit, wisdom, and real-world relevance. The American economic ladder and Girl Scout cookies. How does capitalism work? Why do some succeed while others stall? Jim explains it through the simple transaction of a box of cookies, and in doing so teaches a powerful lesson on value, exchange, and economics. The philosophy of performance and productivity. Success doesn't happen by chance. It's built through deliberate actions taken with intention and excellence. Jim breaks down the daily disciplines that separate the average from the exceptional. Measuring success in your financial house. Money isn't everything, but it is a mirror. Jim teaches how to track, manage, and measure your finances, not just for wealth, but for clarity, freedom, and peace of mind. 6 steps for leading an extraordinary life. This is vintage Rohn, clear, actionable, and unforgettable. From setting goals to developing character, these 6 steps serve as a blueprint for crafting a life of meaning, success, and fulfillment. And that's just the beginning. What others have said about Jim Rohn, I truly believe Jim Rohn is an extraordinary human being whose philosophy can enhance the quality of life for anyone. Anthony Robbins. Few men are endowed with Jim Rohn's ability to motivate and effect changes in other human beings. Jim Rohn is one of the most profound thinkers and mind-expanding individuals I've ever had a chance to listen to. Jim Rohn is a master motivator. He has style, substance, charisma, relevance, charm, and what he says makes a difference. The world would be a better place if everyone had my friend Jim Rohn. Mark why Jim still matters. In a world chasing quick fixes and shallow solutions, Jim Rohn's teachings remain timeless because they are rooted in principles, not trends. They are built on discipline, responsibility, and personal development, cornerstones of any truly successful life. He didn't teach hype. He taught habits. He didn't offer empty motivation. He offered mindset and mastery, and that is why his voice still echoes in the halls of greatness. If you study Jim Rohn, really study him. Not just listen, but absorb. You'll begin to think differently, speak differently, show up differently, and that's when life starts to change. Not because the world got easier, but because you got better. Emerging from your cocoon. For nearly 5 decades, I've had the extraordinary privilege of standing on stages, in seminar halls, and conference rooms across the globe, from the neon-lit streets of Seoul to the tranquil evenings in Kuala Lumpur, sharing one timeless treasure: ideas. Ideas I've come to realize are more than just intellectual sparks. They are seeds of transformation. In those 50 years, if there is one truth that has surfaced again and again, it's this: people don't just crave value, they crave meaningful value. And while money is the most obvious currency we think we spend, the most important currency we trade each day is our time. Let that land for a moment. Time is the only currency you cannot earn back. When people walk into one of my presentations or open a book like this, I carry a twofold responsibility. First, I want them to feel unequivocally, yes, I got my money's worth. That part is simple. If you pay for a ticket, you expect a good show. That's a basic expectation. But there's a deeper mission at play. My second and greater responsibility is this, to make sure the time you invested was profoundly worthwhile. That's the real deal. If you give me 60 minutes of your life, I don't want to just fill that time. I want to elevate it. Why? Because once you give away an hour, you'll never get that exact hour again. It's gone. So we must treat time like the sacred currency it is. You can always earn another dollar, but not another day. The ripple effect of a single idea. Here's where things get interesting. Every time you pick up a book, attend a seminar, or listen to a conversation with your full presence, you are doing something incredibly powerful. You are planting seeds in your mind's soil. Most may not sprout right away. Some will lie dormant. But then, out of nowhere, one tiny idea will take root, and it will change everything. One good idea embraced and acted upon can transform your health. One good idea can unlock your next financial breakthrough. One good idea can reignite a broken relationship or give you new vision for your life. And here's the mystery. You never know when that idea will arrive. It may be a sentence in this book, a passing comment in a hallway, a thought triggered by a quote, or an unexpected detour in your day. But when it hits, the shift begins. This is why ancient wisdom encouraged people to not forsake the assembly. The early Christians believed that being present, really present, was how you positioned yourself to receive wisdom, inspiration, and yes, life-altering ideas. You show up because breakthroughs favor those who are in the room. Why ideas are priceless. A book might cost you $9.95, but what's the value of an idea that earns you $1 million? The truth is, publishers can't price ideas. They price pages. The real worth lies in what those pages unlock in you. One concept can birth a business. One insight can heal a heart. That's why I've always seen learning not as a transaction, but a transformation. Ideas don't have expiration dates. They echo, they compound, they inspire more ideas. You may forget where you first heard them, but their impact stays. They nudge, they guide, they evolve you. A shared journey of transformation. What I've discovered after years of teaching and traveling is this. When I inspire others, I too am inspired. It's like a loop of energy that can't be broken. The teacher becomes the student, the speaker becomes the listener, and in that exchange, something miraculous happens. We are all lifted. I've seen people come to one of my events expecting answers to financial questions and walk away with a breakthrough in their marriage. Others return to the same seminar year after year, and each time they walk away with something different, because they are different. We don't always need new information. Sometimes we just need to hear an old truth when we're finally ready to receive it. Emergence from cocoon to sky. You, me, all of us, we are like caterpillars wrapped in layers of experience, habit, and fear. But within us is the blueprint for flight. That's what personal development is, not just reading or listening, but internalizing, reflecting, and transforming. It's the sacred work of becoming. And just like the caterpillar, your moment will come. One day, the cocoon splits. You stretch new wings, you rise. And here's the beautiful part. Your transformation will inspire others to begin their own. That is the real miracle of learning and teaching, giving and receiving. We don't just grow alone, we rise together, and that, dear reader, is what this journey is all about. Reflection prompt. Take a moment to pause and ask yourself, what is one idea I've been carrying in my heart that I haven't yet acted on? What if that one idea is your wings waiting to unfurl? Now is your time. Step out. Emerge. The American Economic Ladder and Girl Scout Cookies, a masterclass in personal transformation. There are moments in life so sharp, so honest, they split you open. Mine cost just $2. I was 25 years old, married, broke, and hiding behind excuses. A Girl Scout knocked on my door one afternoon, smiling, holding out a box of cookies. Just $2. I lied to her. I told her we already had plenty, though the truth was I didn't have $2 to spare. I closed the door and felt something break inside, not from the lie, but from the realization that I had no excuse left. That cookie box became my mirror. It reflected not my poverty, but my philosophy. And in that quiet, painful moment, I realized my income wasn't my problem, my thinking was. Lesson 1, the marketplace is people, not mystery. At 25, I began studying wealth, not from textbooks, but from mentors, mistakes, and the marketplace itself. One of the first principles I learned shook me to my core. You don't get paid for time, you get paid for value. Whether you're flipping burgers, managing teams, or running your own company, the marketplace doesn't care about your background, your degrees, or your hopes. It pays you precisely what you are worth to it. And that worth is defined by 2 things. 1, what you bring to the table, and 2, what you have become by the time you sit at it. The truth is, the marketplace isn't cruel. It's honest. It's not random, it's reflective. It doesn't reward need, it rewards contribution. And the more valuable your contribution, the more significant your compensation. Lesson 2. You are your own product. Here's where the real transformation begins. You are your own most important product. Just as companies spend billions improving their products, faster cars, better tech, more useful apps, you must do the same with yourself. If you improve your skills, deepen your knowledge, refine your character, and strengthen your habits, your value to the marketplace will inevitably rise. This is the essence of personal development, learning to be more so you can do more, and ultimately earn more, not just in income, but in impact. Once I internalized this, sleep became optional. I had tapped into a new energy source, purpose. I studied late into the night, I read voraciously, I found mentors, I asked hard questions, I rewrote the software of my mind. Because I realized formal education will make you a living. Self-education can make you a fortune. Lesson 3. Rip up your excuses. The first assignment my mentor gave me was simple, brutal, and life-changing. He said, write down every excuse you've ever used. Taxes, upbringing, government bad luck, unfair bosses. Write them all down. Then tear the list up. He paused. Now get a clean sheet of paper. Write 1 word on it. Me. At first I resisted, but eventually I understood. Blaming external forces traps you. Owning your situation liberates you. The only thing standing between where I was and where I wanted to be was me. The economy wasn't my problem. My philosophy was. Lesson 4. Income follows philosophy. This may be the most important truth I've learned. Your income rarely exceeds your personal philosophy. If you believe the government needs to fix your problems, you'll wait forever. If you believe your company owes you more, you'll live in resentment. If you believe the world is unfair, you'll focus on injustice instead of improvement. But if you adopt what I call the philosophy of performance and productivity, everything changes. You stop waiting and start creating. You stop blaming and start building. You stop hoping and start becoming. This philosophy says, I will become more valuable. I will improve myself. I will become so skilled, so knowledgeable, so dependable that the marketplace cannot ignore me. And here's the magic. The marketplace always pays attention to value. Lesson 5. The ladder is real, and it's yours to climb. In America, the economic ladder is very real. It stretches from a few $1,000s a year to hundreds of millions. The rungs of that ladder aren't spaced by luck or family background, but by performance and productivity. Sure, some people inherit a better starting point, but the ladder itself is open to all. At the bottom, someone earns $5 an hour. In the middle, someone earns $50. And at the top, lawyers, executives, entrepreneurs, creators, they earn $500, $5,000, even $50,000 an hour. Why? Because they've learned to bring massive value to the marketplace. The question isn't, why aren't they paying me more? The question is, how can I become someone they must pay more? Lesson 6. The world is hard. America is possible. Don't believe the lie that says success is impossible here. In Bangladesh, the average worker earns less than $1 a day. Here you can read for free, learn online, start a business, work 3 jobs if needed, and climb a ladder no one can stop you from climbing. The barriers in America are real, but they are climbable, and the ladder never runs out of rungs. The final truth. Work on yourself, not just your job. Let me leave you with one sentence that changed my life. If you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. Why? Because success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by becoming an attractive person. Not in looks, but in value, resilience, leadership, creativity, and courage. So don't wish life were easier. Wish you were better, and then become that person. And when you do, even a $2 box of cookies will never humble you again. Not because it's cheap, but because you've become expensive. Key takeaways: the marketplace pays you for value, not time. You are your greatest product. Invest accordingly. Tear up your excuses, replace them with ownership. Philosophy determines income. Adopt the right one. The economic ladder is open to anyone willing to climb. Don't wait for change. Become the change. Success follows self-development. Always. The Philosophy of Performance and Productivity, a journey from self-investment to global impact. Success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying the fundamentals. Jim Rohn. Story 1. The simple truth. Few want to hear. Most people want more wealth, more influence, more fulfillment. And over the centuries, countless books, seminars, and philosophies have promised to reveal the elusive secrets to achieving those things. But let me share something unsettlingly simple. The path to wealth and greatness is paved by one thing: serving others. It's not flashy, it's not always easy, but it's true. The size of your impact directly correlates to the number of people you serve. Want to build wealth? Serve. Want to be powerful? Serve. Want to change the world? Start with one act of service, then scale. John F. Kennedy captured it brilliantly. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Greatness is rooted in contribution, and contribution starts with a decision. What can I do to improve the lives of others? Story 2. The Zig Ziglar Principle. I had the privilege of knowing Zig Ziglar for nearly 5 decades. He often said, "You can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want." It sounds too good to be true, but it isn't. It's just not widely practiced. Here's why. It requires us to shift from a consumer mindset to a creator mindset. Instead of asking, "What can I get?" ask, "What can I give?" And to give effectively, you must first invest in yourself. A formula for personal wealth. 1. Learn, study, develop valuable skills, hone your craft. 2. Serve. Apply those skills in service to others. 3. Multiply. Help others learn what you've learned. That's it. No lottery tickets, no shortcuts, just timeless principles in action. Story 3. The world has changed. Have you? Look around. We are living in the most dynamic era in human history. China, once the symbol of collectivist austerity, now boasts over 235,000 millionaires. India is birthing billionaires. Barriers are dissolving. Economies are transforming. The playing field has gone global. But with great opportunity comes one unavoidable reality: competition. Global competition is not something to fear. It's something to prepare for. In fact, it's the very engine behind the explosion of new opportunities. Ask yourself, can you adapt? Can you reinvent? Can you offer something the world needs? If you can't yet, don't worry. That's where the next principle comes in. Story 4. Adaptability is the new job security. Gone are the days when you could master one trade at 21 and retire comfortably at 65. The world no longer rewards the static, it rewards the dynamic. To thrive, you must become multi-skilled and evolution-minded. Look at the American auto industry. Thousands of workers found themselves obsolete, not because they weren't talented, but because they lacked versatility. If you want to become indispensable in a shifting marketplace, develop a portfolio of skills. Learn sales, communication, digital tools, leadership, finance, whatever adds arrows to your quiver. And then, stay sharp. Skills age. The best stay students for life. Story 5, my turning point, a box of Girl Scout cookies. I remember it vividly. I was around 30. A young girl knocked on my door selling cookies. I wanted to help, but I couldn't even afford a $2 box. That moment broke me, but it also sparked something profound. I made a decision that day to stop blaming and start building. I began investing in myself, attending seminars, reading voraciously, acquiring skills beyond my humble Idaho farm roots. I couldn't build a fortune milking cows, but I could build one teaching others. Story 6. Teaching capitalism in Russia. One of my proudest accomplishments was teaching capitalism in post-communist Russia. After the fall of the Soviet Union, I saw a need, a vacuum of knowledge in a newly opened world. So I went there, not once, but 5 times. What qualified me? Not some grand title or diploma, but a commitment to service, a portfolio of real-world skills, and a belief in value creation. This experience taught me a powerful truth. The difference between poverty and prosperity lies in philosophy. Poor people spend first, invest what's left. Rich people invest first, spend what's left. It's not just about income, it's about what you do with your income. Story 7. Skills, customers, and people. There are 3 ingredients to building wealth. 1. Your skills. These allow you to help people. 2. Your customers. These are the people who benefit from your help. 3. Your team. These are the allies who multiply your reach. Want to build something meaningful? Don't try to do it alone. Find great people, teach them, trust them, and let them shine. Yes, working with strong-minded individuals can feel like herding cats. But remember, sheep are easy to lead, but they won't take you to greatness. Story 8. The magic of multiplication. Want to know when you go from making a living to building a fortune? It's when you're no longer the only one doing the work. Hire, delegate, duplicate. Teach others to do what you do, then teach them to teach others. That's when the gears of multiplication begin to turn. If you're doing it alone, you might survive. If others are doing it with you, you might thrive. But if others are doing it because of you, that's legacy. Final thoughts. The infinite cycle of impact. Once you help someone else win, truly win, something powerful happens inside you. A joy emerges that money alone can't buy. And the best part? There is no limit to how many lives you can impact. You don't need to be born into privilege. You don't need luck. You need philosophy, skills, courage, and a heart to serve. That is the philosophy of performance and productivity, a philosophy that turns struggle into strategy, effort into excellence, and work into wealth, not just in dollars, but in dignity, purpose, and legacy. Working with others, the hidden power behind prosperity. In the quest for personal success and lasting prosperity, there comes a powerful turning point when you realize you can't do it alone. You can try, of course. Many do. But the most sustainable, joyful, and exponential growth always happens in partnership with others. Whether you're leading a company, raising a family, or building a dream, learning how to work with others is a master key. Now, here's the truth that separates merely competent leaders from those who build empires. People will move mountains for you if they feel seen, valued, and inspired. Let's unpack this. Reward and recognition. Small steps, big shifts. If you're a parent, you already understand this principle. Children thrive on recognition. They beam with pride when you acknowledge their small wins. What many adults fail to grasp is this. Grown-ups aren't that different. In business, most people wait to celebrate the big wins. But what if the true path to productivity and loyalty is paved with frequent, genuine acknowledgments of progress, even the small kind? Here's a simple truth that can change your financial destiny. Rewarding progress, even tiny steps, is one of the most profitable habits you can develop. When someone you work with hits a milestone, even a minor one, acknowledge it, celebrate it. It could be a handwritten note, a public shout-out, a bonus, or simply a sincere, "I saw what you did there. Great work." These moments compound. People become emotionally invested when they feel recognized. And when they're emotionally invested, they bring their best. That is how businesses scale, how teams thrive, and how cultures are built. I call this mindset the wealth philosophy. Be so busy recognizing others that you no longer crave the recognition yourself. Don't worry, you'll be rewarded many times over. Communication, the million-dollar skill. Once you've grasped the power of recognition, the next step is to sharpen your blade, your ability to communicate. This isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a must-have. In fact, it might be the most valuable investment you can make in your entire career. The world is full of people with great ideas, brilliant plans, even revolutionary solutions. But unless they can communicate clearly, passionately, and persuasively, those ideas die in silence. Now let's explore the 3 levels of communication, each more powerful than the last. 1. Training, the basics. At the first level, you're simply showing someone how to do something. Think of this like teaching someone how to use a tool or complete a task. Training answers the question, what do I do? This is foundational, but limited. It creates competent doers, but not yet thinkers. To teaching, the transfer of skill. Teaching goes a step further. You're not just showing someone how, you're helping them understand why. This level builds independent thinkers. When you teach well, people don't just follow steps. They develop their own skill set. Teaching answers, why does this matter? And how can I use it beyond this moment? 3. Inspiring, the catalyst for transformation. This is the highest level of communication and the rarest. When you inspire, you give someone more than skills. You give them vision. You help them see themselves as more than they thought they could be. Inspiration answers, what is possible for me? If you master this level, you will never lack for allies, clients, or opportunity. Why? Because the world is hungry for those who can awaken potential. To inspire someone is to ignite a fire that cannot be put out. The global stage, why languages are leverage. We live in an interconnected world. Technology has erased many borders, but language still builds bridges. While some still believe monolingualism is enough, the truth is, those who speak more than one language gain more than words. They gain access to markets, access to people, access to trust. In Europe, in Asia, in Africa, multilingualism is normal. In the US, it's often optional, but that mindset will cost you. The more languages you speak, the more worlds you can enter. And this isn't just about business, it's about resilience. In a volatile world, having more than one language and more than one skill gives your family what I call a mobility advantage. It means you're never trapped, financially, geographically, or emotionally. If you want to build a financial wall around your future, teach your children languages. Invest in them. Learn one yourself. It's not about perfection, it's about connection. The takeaway. Build others, build wealth. Let's bring it all together. Reward progress, not just results. Communicate with intention. Train, teach, and above all, inspire. Speak to the world, not just your corner of it. Multiple languages equal multiple opportunities. The most prosperous people in the world didn't get there by climbing alone. They lifted others on their way up, so start there. Build people, and in doing so, you'll build something far more enduring than wealth. Legacy. A look at the fundamentals. Building a life beyond the script. We're all handed a script early in life. Stay in school, study hard, get a good job, stay out of trouble. That's what society hands us, like a template. For some, it becomes a map. For others, a cage. But somewhere along the way, if you're paying attention, you start asking the question, is that it? It's not a bad script. It keeps many people safe. But safety isn't the same as freedom. And freedom, real freedom, financial, mental, spiritual, is not handed to you. It's built. The truth is, success isn't something you follow like a recipe. It's something you understand, practice, and create. And it begins with a mindset, a philosophy. Let's talk about a fundamental shift that changed my life. Profits are better than wages. Now, before you toss this into the pile of catchy quotes, hear me out. Wages will make you a living, but profits can make you a fortune. That's not theory. That's principle. The beauty is, you don't have to choose one or the other. I didn't. I worked full-time on my job and part-time on my fortune. That's where most people miss the mark. They think it's either or. It's not. At least not in the beginning. Laying the foundation, the role of fundamentals. Whatever you're trying to build, wealth, a career, a legacy, you need to understand the foundation. No structure stands for long without it. Making money is no exception. There are laws, there are patterns, and there are time-tested fundamentals. If someone tells you they've invented a brand new system to get rich, be skeptical, very skeptical. Money, like health and freedom, operates on universal principles. Those principles don't expire with the next trend. Here's one of the most vital fundamentals. You need a personal guidance system. This is your internal compass, the things you will do, the lines you won't cross, the kind of people you choose to associate with, and those you choose to avoid. Without this compass, opportunity becomes dangerous, and danger becomes seductive. Because here's the thing, Danger and opportunity often walk side by side. They look alike, sound alike. Sometimes they even wear the same suit. Learning to tell them apart is the work of wisdom. It takes reflection, not just reaction. You have to step back, look deeper, and ask the hard questions. Does this align with my values? Who else is involved, and what do they stand for? Is this rooted in long-term gain or short-term seduction? History, a mirror for modern minds. If you doubt the dance between danger and opportunity, look to history. 50 years ago, most of the world lived under tyranny. Freedom was not the norm. Liberty was the dream of the few and the privilege of even fewer. Then, little by little, liberty began to rise. The Berlin Wall fell. Soviet communism collapsed. The iron grip of control began to loosen. What changed? People changed. Ideas changed. Liberty woke up and went to work. And when liberty works, tyranny doesn't stand a chance. Why? Because liberty, like profit, is based on the individual. Tyranny, like centralized wage systems, is about control. Let's not forget, Stalin's communism murdered millions. The Soviet system held all the capital and with it all the power. When one entity controls everything, it can justify anything, even the most unspeakable horrors. This isn't just history, it's a warning, a reminder. Whether we're talking about nations, businesses, or personal lives, power without principle is a recipe for destruction. The same rules apply to your health. This tug-of-war between liberty and tyranny, profit and wage, control and freedom, plays out in our own bodies too. Ignore your health, and disease takes over. Neglect your energy, and apathy creeps in. You cannot build an extraordinary life with a tired, neglected body. Your goals demand energy. Your dreams require endurance. A clear mind and a strong body are not optional. They are essential tools in your toolbox. Why work hard for financial freedom only to be too sick or exhausted to enjoy it? The final lesson: principles over trends. In the end, fundamentals aren't flashy. They're not always exciting, but they are the bedrock of everything that lasts. So what are they? Develop a philosophy rooted in freedom and value. Work your job, but also work on your fortune. Build a guidance system that keeps you on course when things get blurry. Learn to see the difference between danger and opportunity. Study history, not just for what happened, but for why it happened. Take care of your body as you take care of your goals. There's a reason they're called fundamentals, because everything else rests on them. And if you master them, your life won't follow the script. It'll become the story others want to learn from. Refining and strengthening your personal philosophy. The art of growing from within and leading a life of intentional wisdom. Every person walking the path of life, consciously or not, a personal philosophy. It is the internal framework through which you interpret the world, respond to challenge, seize opportunity, and choose your values. Whether developed deliberately or shaped passively by circumstance, your philosophy becomes the lens through which your entire life is lived. To refine and strengthen this foundation is one of the most valuable endeavors you will ever undertake. But how do you do it? Let's explore this process through a few key ideas that will sharpen your thinking, deepen your insight, and empower your life. 1. Learn relentlessly. From experience, yours and others. There is no teacher quite like experience. Your triumphs illuminate your potential. Your failures, if studied rather than buried, reveal truths with more power than any textbook. Yet here lies the trap. Many stop at their own experience. They close the book after chapter 1. You must go further. You see, wisdom isn't just earned, it's borrowed. You will never have time to touch every hot stove, walk every path, or fall into every trap. But others have. Their mistakes, their breakthroughs, their detours, they are a vast library, open 24/7, ready to lend you guidance. Don't waste it. When you learn from someone else's downfall, you gain the lesson without the scar. When you internalize the habits that made another person soar, you get a shortcut up the mountain. Borrow brilliance, study failure, learn from life, whether it's yours or not. This is self-education in its highest form.
To define.
Don't drift. I'm not here to hand you a blueprint for life. No book, course, or mentor can do that for you. But you must write your own. Otherwise, the currents of culture, fear, and noise will write it for you. So start asking questions. The right questions. What do I truly want for myself? What do I want to build for my family? What do I hope to contribute through my work? What am I willing to give? What legacy do I want to leave? Goals give structure to your spirit. They transform fog into focus. It begins with writing, not typing, not thinking, writing. When you write your goals down, you move them from abstract wish to actionable plan. You begin to see the outlines of a future you can actually build. A personal philosophy without goals is a compass without a destination. You are not a tree. You are not fixed. You are not stuck in one place. You are not bound to repeat the story your past has written. Trees are rooted. You are not. You are mobile, intelligent, creative, capable of rewriting your future with the pen of your present decisions. This is your power. Don't squander it. The moment you realize that change is possible, not just in theory but in reality, you awaken a part of yourself that refuses to settle for a half-lived life. Your personal philosophy becomes a platform for action, and action creates transformation. 4. Attitude. The amplifier of your philosophy, knowledge, is essential. But how you feel about that knowledge, how you carry yourself through uncertainty, matters just as much. Your attitude is the emotional weather in which your philosophy operates. Are you hopeful, cynical, grateful, bitter? These feelings color your decisions, just like a filter colors a photograph. A strong philosophy without a strong attitude is like a sharp blade in a dull hand. Attitude gives your philosophy its energy, its momentum, its soul. So cultivate an attitude of resilience, of curiosity, of relentless belief in your capacity to grow. #5. Project forward, reflect back. To build the future, we must study the past, not to dwell there, but to learn what it taught us. We reflect on mistakes to prevent their return. We recall successes to recreate their conditions. This reflective thinking refines your philosophy over time, making it more precise, more personal, more powerful. Then look forward. Project yourself into the life you want to live. Walk the halls of your imagined future. Smell the air of your desired reality. Visualize the result, then reverse engineer the steps. This process isn't fantasy, it's planning with passion. #6. Reasons matter more than goals. A goal is a destination. A reason is the fuel that gets you there. Andrew Carnegie once said he would spend the first half of his life earning money and the second half giving it away. That reason lit his fire. It gave him endurance, ambition, and a moral compass. The result? A life that not only created immense wealth, but also reshaped libraries, universities, and lives. So ask yourself not only what you want, but why. That why will keep you going when the what starts to feel far away. #7. The gift economy of contribution. One of the greatest truths in life is this: when you give, you grow. America's uniqueness lies in its foundation of contributions, languages, philosophies, inventions, dreams from around the world. What built this nation was not merely systems and structures, but the gifts of people. Your gift matters too. What you know, what you've survived, what you've built, what you've failed at, all of it becomes a gift when shared intentionally. If you want a great life, help others build theirs. If you want to lead, learn to serve. The economy of greatness is always built on the currency of contribution. 8. Roll up your sleeves. A refined philosophy is a powerful tool, but it's not enough. Pair it with action. Get your hands dirty. Your goals, your mindset, your reasons, none of these change anything without work. Work is what converts vision into value. You don't get stronger by rereading about push-ups. You get stronger by doing them. In the same way, you don't become wise just by reading philosophy. You become wise by living it. The final piece in your development is this: action, repeated over time, guided by your values, fueled by purpose. Closing thought. Your personal philosophy is not fixed, it's fluid. It should evolve as you grow. Strengthen it through self-education. Sharpen it with reflection. Energize it with purpose. Express it through action. This is not easy work, but it is noble work, and it is worth it. The more refined your philosophy becomes, the more extraordinary your life can be, not just for you, but for everyone your life touches. So begin now. Reflect deeply. Set bold goals. Live by reason. Act with purpose. And above all, never stop learning. Your financial house and measuring success. Growing up, my father never sat me down with spreadsheets or a ledger. Instead, he lived a lesson that stayed with me forever. live debt-free, and aim to stand on your own financial feet. He didn't just say it, he showed it. And in today's world, where national debt headlines ripple across the globe and personal debt quietly burdens millions, his wisdom echoes louder than ever. Debt isn't just a number, it's a weight. It's the invisible force that can shape decisions, delay dreams, and in many cases, derail destinies. Building a strong financial life is much like building a house. The foundation must be strong, secure, and protected from erosion. In this case, erosion comes in the form of unchecked spending, lack of planning, and perhaps worst of all, aimless effort. One pillar in this financial house is often overlooked: work that excites you. Now, this may sound idealistic in a world where jobs are often chosen for security over passion. But think of it like this. If your work is the engine that drives your financial journey, then passion is the fuel. When you enjoy what you do, when you find purpose and energy in it, you not only work harder, but smarter, longer, and with more resilience. Jim Rohn once said, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." Embracing your work, especially the work that aligns with your values and long-term vision, is part of becoming better. It's how you build not just income, but wealth, true wealth, measured not just in dollars, but in satisfaction and peace of mind. Reflect before you race. However, here's where many go astray. They put in the effort, but forget to pause. Imagine building that financial house brick by brick without ever stepping back to check if the walls are straight. Over time, your vision and your results will drift apart. Progress without reflection is like sailing without a compass. You might be moving, but not necessarily in the right direction. Let's bring it down to something relatable. Say you're trying to lose weight. You're eating better, exercising more. But unless you step on the scale, take your measurements, or try on those gold jeans, how do you know it's working? Similarly, in your financial life, if you're not tracking your progress, you're guessing, not growing. Time as a measurement tool. Now let's talk about time. Would you be okay with your child staying in 4th grade for 3 years? Probably not. We instinctively know how to measure academic progress, yet we often abandon this same logic when it comes to our goals. Financial independence is not a weekend project. It may take years, even that's okay, as long as you know where you are and where you're going. Set financial milestones, like saving your first $1,000, paying off a credit card, building a 6-month emergency fund, or investing a certain percentage of your income, and check in regularly. These checkpoints don't just track progress, they fuel motivation. No one's coming to save you. Here's a truth that can either discourage you or empower you. No one else is responsible for your financial freedom. The world doesn't require you to save for retirement. It doesn't demand you protect your family with insurance or emergency plans. There's no law saying you must budget, invest, or live beneath your means. These are choices, your choices, and they form the beams and studs of your financial house. This is where personal responsibility comes in. Not as a burden, but as a beacon. You have more control over your financial destiny than you may realize. But it requires awareness, discipline, and most importantly, a personal philosophy that acts as your blueprint. Philosophy before fortune. Your financial results are the harvest of your daily habits, beliefs, and decisions. And those stem from your philosophy, your way of thinking about money, value, opportunity, and risk. People often confuse good character with good decisions. They're not always the same. A kind, loving person can make reckless financial choices. A person with integrity can still fall into the trap of lifestyle inflation, emotional spending, or poor planning. Why? Because decision-making is a skill, not a virtue. It must be developed, refined, and guided by a clear inner compass. This is why we focus so deeply in this book on the ability to distinguish danger from opportunity. This skill, combined with consistent measurement, meaningful work, and personal responsibility, is how you not only build a financial house, but turn it into a home, a place of stability, peace, and legacy. Key reflections and action steps. 1. Define your philosophy. Write down 3 to 5 guiding financial principles. Revisit them monthly. Are your actions aligned? 2. Track your progress. Choose one goal, e.g. debt repayment, savings target, and set weekly or monthly checkpoints. 3. Evaluate your work energy. Are you energized or depleted by your work? What small shift can you make this month toward more fulfilling work? 4. Take full ownership. Reflect on one financial decision you've been avoiding. Make a plan to address it this week. 5. Measure with meaning. Pick a report card for your finances. Net worth, savings rate, budget success. Review it quarterly, like a personal board meeting. Building your financial house isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Step by step, brick by brick, and with the right mindset, that house becomes more than shelter. It becomes a sanctuary. 6 steps for leading an extraordinary life. In this final chapter, let us turn inward. We've explored the terrain of business, communication, leadership, and influence. But all of those skills, no matter how powerful, lose their meaning if not grounded in a life well lived. Beyond boardrooms and strategy meetings, there lies a deeper question. What kind of life are you living? Not just what you do for a living, but how you live. Living an extraordinary life doesn't mean perfection or applause. It means meaning, contribution, joy. It means becoming the kind of person whose presence is a gift to others, starting with your family, extending to your community, and echoing into the world. The truth is, every principle we've discussed in this book has been steering us here toward a life of depth, purpose, and impact. If applied with intention, these 6 steps won't just improve your business, they will transform your life. Natas 1. Be productive. Create with purpose. Productivity is not simply about checking off tasks or staying busy. It's about creating value. We were born to build, to shape, to contribute. Deep down, we all long to feel that our time on this earth mattered, that we left something behind, a legacy, a difference, a better world. To be productive is to plant seeds that feed others. It's about turning effort into impact. Whether it's raising children with character, building businesses with integrity, or crafting art that moves people, when you produce, you grow. And when you grow, you feel alive. Reflection. Ask yourself each morning, what will I create today that is worth my energy? 2. Value relationships. Who you walk with matters. In the end, life is not about achievements. It's about attachment. No success can compensate for a life void of meaningful relationships. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, believe in you, and walk beside you, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's not. Relationships are the mirror in which we see ourselves most clearly. If you spend your life focused only on me, you'll find yourself ultimately alone. Science confirms it. Strong social connections improve longevity, happiness, and resilience. But more importantly, they remind us of our humanity. Teaching point. The people you choose to do life with, your friends, family, mentors, shape who you become. Choose with care. Invest with love. 3. Respect your origins. Know where you come from. To live fully in the present and shape the future, you must understand your past, your culture, your ancestors, your story. They are the soil from which your character grows. Knowing your roots provides grounding in a world that often feels rootless. It helps you appreciate the diverse tapestry of human experience and carry forward what is worth preserving. Diversity is not a threat, it's a gift. America, like many great nations, thrives because of its ability to weave many threads into one fabric. But that fabric only holds if we understand each other's stories and our own. Reflection. What stories, values, and sacrifices brought you to where you are today? Honor them, share them, learn from them. 4. Cultivate spiritual health. Feed the soul. You are not just flesh and bone. You are also spirit. To ignore the spiritual dimension of life is to live only half of it. You don't have to be a theologian, a preacher, or even religious, but you do need to look inward and upward. Ask the big questions. Sit with silence. Reconnect with what you believe and why. Spiritual health is like the roots of a tree, unseen but essential. It anchors you in storms and reminds you of your greater purpose. Teaching point. A strong community, nation, or family is built on shared values and spiritual grounding. Don't neglect this. Let your faith or your search for it shape the way you love, serve, and live. 5. Build an inner circle. Life is not a solo mission. The quality of your inner circle often defines the quality of your life. Who do you call when the world caves in? Who calls you when they're struggling? These connections are sacred. Life has a way of surprising us, with joy, but also with heartbreak. Your inner circle acts as both your safety net and your launch pad. They'll catch you when you fall and challenge you to rise higher. And remember, just as you lean on others, be someone they can lean on too. Reflection. Who are your 5 closest people? What kind of energy do they bring to your life, and what kind do you bring to theirs? 6. Plant the seeds. Do what you can and trust the rest. There is a divine rhythm to life. You plant, God grows. Your job is not to control the outcome, it's to begin, to take that small step, to write the first page, to make the call, to show up. Faith means doing your part, even when the harvest is not yet in sight. And it's not just about faith in God, it's faith in people, in process, in possibility. Most of life's extraordinary outcomes began with one ordinary act of courage. Teaching point. Don't wait until you're ready. Plant the seed now. That's how personal growth and personal miracles begin. In closing, live for legacy. To lead an extraordinary life is not about riches or recognition. It's about waking up each day committed to becoming someone your future self would be proud of. So build, connect, remember, believe, surround, begin. That's the path, that's the legacy. And it starts right now with one small step in the direction of extraordinary.